I tried to coin out some lies, it didn't work. So everything I'm going to tell you is the truth. I don't really have much bad news, but I will tell you literally in chronicles where the journey is for me, where it started from to where it is today. And after I've broken it down into chapters, and after every chapter, the little lesson I learned, the learning experience from it, and I hope that we'll all learn together in this journey. Are we together? Awesome. Thank you. Are we good? Thank you. Now, I hope you don't mind if I stand for this session while he sits. Is that okay? This guy is tall. And once again, well done. Can we please give a round of applause to the organizing team? Please, just a round of applause. This is beautiful. Well done. Now, yeah, title, Beyond Normal. And then, so this is me. And introductions, my name is Randeno Haniel. But Randy for short, simple. Video journalist, documentary filmmaker, film editor. Everything media, that's my life, literally. Over the past decade and a half, that's 15 years, I have, for some reason, had the privilege to work with some of the leading media organizations within the country and outside the country. Names like CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, TRT World, Russian television, just name the likes, Channels TV, TVC News, all of that. I've either filmed documentaries, done photography for them, including the international NGOs from International Rescue, that's Red Cross and the rest of them. But the story is, how did it get to this point? And where did it go? Where did we start from and how did we get to here? And that's how we'll go together. So, chapter 1, Origins. Seeking facts for mom. 2012. How many of you were in Yola, Adamawa State generally? Let me not say Yola. In 2012, how many of you were here? Raise hands if you were there. Fantastic. So, background. The year was 2012. Nyako had become the governor of Adamawa State, I think by February. Or was it? No, after the elections. It was, yeah, February or so. The DSS had just uncovered a bomb factory in Yola, in Yole Party. I don't know, how many of you remember that story? There was a bomb factory. Or some of you were too young to remember. 25 students were massacred at Federal Poly, Mubi. How many of us remember that story? Wow, okay. And then Adamawa State was about to witness its first series of invasions from the insurgents. I was with my mom. She's of blessed memory now. My mom was a school teacher. She taught home management at a private school here in Yola. And for most of the time, I stayed with her in the staff quarters. She was in her 50s, she was in her late 50s, yes. Now, during the time that the insurgency started in Yola, it was close to Christmas. And Facebook was just something we started to get used to. All of a sudden, what happened online? Same thing as what we heard last week in Yola, where some people said there was exchange of fire between the police and the soldiers. Do we remember that story? Good. If you checked your social media handles then, what were you noticing? Someone will post, I'm hearing gunshots in Kariwa. Another person posts, I also heard it at police roundabout. Another person will post, I live behind government house and I also heard the shots. So by the time you start linking, you realize that Kariwa, police roundabout, government house, this thing is spreading. It was the same thing that happened during this period. I was with my mom and I'm on social media. Up until my mom's passing, she didn't even know how to use a smartphone. So I was the one interpreting everything. I'm like, Mom, they said they're hearing gunshots at Bikaji. Somebody said he's hearing it in Kariwa. Somebody said he's hearing, and it started getting closer to where we were. And we were not sure. I said, I'm going to go out to find out. She said, you're not going anywhere. So I stayed back. But I was also afraid. Now, physically, I started to calculate like the young guy that I am. If any attack comes, me, I can run and jump the fence. But she will not be able to. So I started thinking of maybe I'll just push her into the ceiling and hide, then run. Some of you have thought like that, don't lie. Let's not be saying, some of you have even cut hole in your house in case thief comes, all of you go and hide inside. So don't be looking at me like a stranger. I thought of all these gimmicks. Now, this was just for protection's sake. But one thing I kept resting in my mind was this. There were so many unconfirmed stories that were spreading. Somebody said he saw dead bodies on his way to Bank Road. Another person said, I saw a girl being dragged into a car along Yola bypass. Different stories, and nobody had any evidence to show that this is the picture of the dead body. No, nobody put it. They just wrote text. So after a while, I got tired and I said, we don't even have, and if you checked, ATV, NTA, they were not showing anything. They were not posting breaking news. Not like what we have right now in our modern day and age. There was nothing like that. This was 2012. So I got upset. I called a friend of mine and I said, bro, how far? His name is Ibrahim Jika. He's a filmmaker, amazing guy. I said, bro, there's nobody telling news that is really factual, like picture evidence. He was like, have you noticed? Nothing was happening. So after a lot of deliberations and thought and everything, we came up with a platform. It was a blog, and we called it Hookup TV. That's Ibrahim Jika and that's myself. So we did a poll online, we put different names, and then people selected this one. Now, contrary to what you guys call hookup now, back then it had no meaning. It was just, we're just hooking you guys to the news and all of that. And that was one of the reasons why we even had to stop the blog at the end of the day. Because right now, most of you are thinking, hey, these people are doing hookup. Stop that. All right, so literally, we're just two guys with one laptop, and we're just trying to toss out ideas here. But it was simple. We were just posting news. The local artists, the local celebrities we had, nobody was celebrating them. Nobody was giving information about them. Some young singer goes out there, does an amazing performance. Nobody was telling us, oh, this guy went out, performed to a crowd of 500 people. Nobody was telling these stories in Yola. I grew up in Lagos, and I had this background where every single celebrity news they were just popping news about them. Wizkid goes out today and he sings in front of like a sold out stadium. The news is all over. Nobody was talking about our celebrities here. And our celebrities were who? Fashion designers, the singers, the on-air personalities. So he created the blog and I was putting all the content. I knew most of these people. Just like when you guys introduced yourself here, you were saying, oh, I'm a content creator, I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a that. By the time you as a content creator amass, let's say on TikTok, you have 500,000 followers. Literally, you're a celebrity, right? So anything you do at this stage, if I see you tomorrow swimming in this pool, celebrity TikToker from Adamawa State, so and so was seen swimming and so with a mystery guy. And that was news for us. And people were reading. It was steadily gaining traction. It got to a point we were getting as much as 300,000 readers in one day. Because there was no other person that was telling stories of what was going on here. And everybody started feeling like a celebrity. So people started to call us, oh, can you come for our event? Just come and, say something about it. So we became local celebrities in our own right. And that was how we started the evolution. The key learning here was this: embrace unconventionality. Challenge the status quo, break from conventional thinking, ask questions, challenge assumptions, and embrace unconventional ideas. We got tired. Nobody was telling the story the way it should be, with picture evidence. So when something happened, when they said a building in the market caught fire, we would go there, take pictures with Ibrahim's camera, and we would upload so that everybody gets to see it. We were not just going to write text and end it there. It was with evidence. If there was no evidence, we're not going to have it. So people started to inbox us. Oh, did you know that the governor now wears Balenciaga shoes? Really? Take a picture and let's see. And take a picture on 3 different occasions that he was wearing the Balenciaga shoes. We would now Google search and check the value. So when we put it as news, we'll say, did you know that the Adamawa State governor wears a 350,000 naira shoe? We're not just going to mention Balenciaga, and that's how we're getting traction. Chapter 2, going corporate. That was when I got my first corporate job. With my thirst for news gathering steadily emerging, I got a job as an in-house film editor with a local TV station, and there it shaped my career. Most of you heard of TV Gotel before its closure, correct? How many of you have heard of TV Gotel? Those of you not raising your hand, don't lie. All right. So I got employed as an in-house film editor. So I was cutting stories. You would not see me on television. I was behind the scenes editing. But as time evolved, I started to learn a lot about camera handling as well. So that was me. And this was a Children's Day. This was a few days before Children's Day. And I went to my director, my head of programs, and I said, "Sir, we have not done any spot advert for Children's Day." He said, "What do you have in mind?" I said, "Can we get the kids together from different schools in different uniforms and just, give them one-liners to say, and we do a video?" He said, "Sure." So the programs team went out to schools and they brought them in-house. So that's me, skinny me then. And this was me in the studio and then the editing suite as well. So from being an in-house film editor who sits behind a computer, I started to learn how to use the camera. I started to learn how to direct, how to produce content as well. So this was an evolution for me. I wasn't just sitting in one spot. And my salary was 30,000 naira then. It was low then and it's still low now. But then I was going all out. Spending how many hours? I'm spending between 7 to 13 hours in the studio. I literally was living in the studio. My laundry, everything was brought there. I just kept it by the office. There was a cubicle, which was meant to be a voiceover room, and I would keep them there. There's a bathroom, a shower, back to work. I got selected during that period to go for a training in Nairobi, Kenya. There was a media institute called A24 Media. It was run by Mohammed Amin and Salim Amin. Mohammed Amin he's Pakistani, but he was an amazing video journalist. There is a song by Michael Jackson. It's called, let me sing the tune. We are the world. How many of you know the song? Beautiful. The founder of the school, who is this guy on this book here, was the reason why that song was birthed. And this is why. 1983, he was filming. He was asked to fly from Kenya to Somalia, which was not far. It's like here in Ghana. And he was to film the drought. There was immense hunger in Somalia. And he went with his camera and he was filming for, the international media. And after filming, now this was in the days of video cassettes. It wasn't memory cards, it was video cassette. He packaged and he sent it to the US, to US TV stations. Quincy Jones, who was a very renowned producer then, he was one of the producers for Michael Jackson, got his hands on the tape. And he saw what happened. He said, people like this exist in this world, starving and hungry and about to die. We need to do something. And that was when he called Michael Jackson, and they said, we need to get all these artists, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, and a whole bunch of them. And they did that song, and they said all the proceeds for that song was going to go to Africa. So the title of the name of the artist was USA to Africa. So all the money they raised from that song went to people that were starving in Somalia, because one man used his camera to tell the story. I was assigned to go for training as a film editor, but then because my film editing classes would end and I still had free time, I went ahead to go for camera training practices. That was my instructor in the first slide. His name is Peter Muremi. He was an award-winning video journalist for Al Jazeera and the UN. And this guy would he'd say, come, let's go. And he would take me out, let's go and take shots of this. Let's do this, let's do this. And this was one of the schools there with me at the headset. We're filming in a girls' school called Kibera Girls Soccer Academy. These girls live in the slums. Like most of us, we know Angwan Shinko, right? It's a slum area. The girls in that area were prone to pregnancy. Pregnancy was very rampant there. Most of the girls from secondary school, they got pregnant. So some Europeans came and said, why don't we just teach them football? So they built a school in the slum. It's a soccer academy. In the daytime, girls go to school. After classes, they go and play football. and some of the girls trained to become professional football players. So we're asked to go and film their story. And that was me then. And then that was my instructor for film editing. Her name is Kendi. She's in the US now. Why am I sharing these pictures with you? The process. Some of these things that they were training us, I already knew. But then I also wanted to learn their lifestyle. There is a lifestyle that the people in the same industry you're in live, that if you don't imbibe. Jack Ma said, in the process of you trying to become a millionaire, it's not being the millionaire that is the ultimate goal. It's the person you become along the line. When Mr. Dimas was here, he talked about what? Nobody came here on time. We arrived at the same time. Came here, we took a walk around the entire facility, still stood. I even had to go out and come back again. Coming early is a discipline. You will notice that even some of the people you respect the most, you will see that somebody will sit down at a wedding, highly placed person, and he will sit till the end of the wedding before he leaves. Every other person will go, but you'll see that person will sit down throughout. So it's in the process. What did you become in the process? So this was the becoming process for me. I would hear these guys would make calls with international media agencies, and they said, of course, we can film tomorrow. All we need is security, and then we'll do. Listening to them make this logistics arrangement was a process for me, and I was taking it in. Graduation came, and we're leaving back to Nigeria. Most of them, these were part of us from Nigeria, and the guys from Kenya as well. These were TV presenters, cameramen, film editors. When these young guys start to give you their CV, and the agencies they had worked with, suddenly you started to think of your own life. Where have you worked? What have you done? During break time in Nigeria, what do we do? Like you work in an organization, an NGO or something, what do you do during break? You go out, you start talking, oh boy, that girl, have fun now. We'll see her later now, go club today, but during their own break, this is what I noticed, and it wasn't pretense, it was continuous. They had this open lawn, it was, this place. The sun wasn't much there, it's not like Yola. Yola, our temperatures go to as high as 42 degrees, right? These guys, this one is wearing sweater, the one, brown sweater. Temperature was like 8 or 10 degrees, and to them it's hot. I said, you guys don't know hot. I was wearing one vest, not even singlet. I said, you guys don't know hot. He said, it's very hot today, Randy. Can't you see the temperature? I said, wait. I brought out my phone. I googled temperature in Yola. Fortunately, it was 42 degrees that day. I said, look at hot here. I said, it's so hot. If you fly a plane from here with all the AC will die when you enter Yola. So they didn't understand. But here's the thing. During break, this is what these guys would do on the outside lawn. They come out, they sit down. And these were young guys. They would sit down and say, so Shirley, what do you think about that content we're working on for the Africa Today show? Yeah, I'm thinking we can do a piece on Mombasa because they're having new young guys who are bringing out new cultural slang. And I think we can merge it with the story of the Afro culture in Nigeria. I'm looking at them. I thought we would talk about babes and all of that now. These guys were literally like, they were too intelligent. Like at that age, they were literally just program focused. And that was when I realized most of these guys were already presenting TV programs that were seen in 32 countries. And then me, I was there sitting down like Bolo. So it became a mind shift. You have to think over it again. These are your mates. How do you want to now go and think your life? I was no longer thinking Nigerian, I was thinking Pan-African. Because to them, they even knew more about Nigerian history than we did. So it was a huge lesson for us. So that was chapter 2, and the lesson was what? Cultivate a growth mindset. Be a perpetual student, constantly seek new knowledge, skills, and experiences to broaden your perspective. That was a learning point for me. Chapter 3. Are we following the story? Is it making sense? Thank you. Somebody say very much. Thank you. That was encouraging. Chapter 3, leaving corporate. And then, faced with the dilemma of overclocked working hours and small pay scale while secret promotions were taking place, I did what? I resigned. I was on a 30,000 naira salary. Everybody that knew I was working in my family just felt, this is the guy that will solve all our problems. On 30,000, how? Even my house rent was 50K. So at the end of the day, my own 1 month salary cannot pay the house rent for a year. But in between, while I was editing programs, I was carrying cameras up and down. They'll say, breaking news, another flood just affected this area. I'll just say, sir, send me, I'll go, get the driver, let's go. Because I was watching CNN. And you know, when you watch those CNN adverts, it's very deceitful. They will show Holocarani. She would come. She'd be like, now you can see the explosions are taking place. Blah! Then she would dodge. I was like, I want to be like this. Even in your line must happen. We'll do it. I was deceiving myself. I'll tell sir, can we send the driver? Then my head of programs, very evil man, he'll say, go, get the news. Wow, attacker. I'm like, we must break this news. I'll say, sir, this is the tape. They give it to head of news. Head of news, look. Keep it for tomorrow. I said, no, sir, this is breaking news. I had watched too many films. But I didn't know I was still preparing myself for the future. It wasn't on this ground. It wasn't here. So sometimes you might feel you're overdoing what you're currently doing in this environment. It might not be for now. You are creatives. No, you are not normal people. You are not thinking like the next average guy outside. There is a reason. Elon Musk, all of them, they will tell you, our childhood, we were very weird. Nobody wanted to play with us. They were not joking. They know what they were saying. You paint, right? Your friends will be flexing and you'll still be painting in your room, correct? You'll deny yourself all those privileges. The day that somebody will now come and say, I want this painting, 1 million naira. Is that okay? You'll be like, you don't know whether to say yes or no. And then from that point, here's what happens. Your valuation now becomes the minimum price for your painting is what? 1 million. Tomorrow somebody will come. How far now? This is your painting. I'll give you 30K. You don't know. That's how the valuation goes. Are we together? Great. So I got tired because I was on 30K of salary. So many on the ground. There was this girl that was serving tea, shy in the offices. This girl was earning 100K. And here I was, following, carrying camera, breaking news. I will come and do director. Camera 1, stand there, camera 2, this way. Anybody that saw me would think I owned that station. And this girl will pass with tea. And I'll be looking at her. And her salary was 3 times my own, plus extra. I am not kidding you. And then she comes up to me one day. You made a swim program. Eh? I said, just insult me now. Insult me. But these are the realities we had. So I resigned. I left. Before I left, there was this thing they would always say, no, this station cannot do without you. You know you're the backbone. I said, They will deceive you with that kind of talk. We need you here. The moment you leave, they made it look like bad. The day I resign and I walk out the building will crash. And one day, it was on a Monday morning, I had typed the resignation letter on Sunday. Monday, I walked up to the human resource officer and I submitted on his table and I was out. I left. The building did not crash. The building still has not crashed. So, next thing I did was I created a flyer. I was a graphic designer back then. For those of you that are into graphic, don't laugh. This was the reigning thing then. Anybody that laughs and your teeth will fall. Yeah, I'm just joking. So I created this. I didn't even know the direction I was going to have with my life, but I knew I needed to do something. So I created a flyer and I called the company Pixel Creation. I said, if you guys ever need, very clear visuals and all of that, contact me. I put my phone number. Funny enough, this was 2015, yeah. And I'm still using that same number till today. And then somebody, very great guy, great man, he's in the comment section, and I had to screenshot that comment. He said, Randy, we need to meet to start something good. And I inboxed the man and I said, yes, sir, I'm here. What can I do? He said, come to Abuja. My last 7K on my way to Abuja. Stayed in his house for 3 days. He didn't say anything. I said, so I'll be leaving tomorrow. He said, good, sit down. And then he went to his bedroom, called his wife to come, and he said, now, let's see what we can do for you. Okay, he had to going back. And then he brought out 2 boxes, Jumia. Those are my first set of cameras. And I have a D3100 and a D5100. First cameras after I resigned. When I saw this, I lost my mind. I said, wow, everybody in your life is going to die. I'm ready, I'm taking over from that TV station. I'm taking over the world. I didn't know it was a lie. I thought as I'm entering Yola, like as I'm landing Yola, people just call, hello, is this Randy? We heard you're doing this. I said, like, nobody knew you. Put it on Facebook, few people commented, few people were happy. Now, in the midst of it, I decided, okay, let's start making content. And this is why I did this. I realized the TV station I had worked in was buying content. And that's what TV stations do. They don't make all the programs you watch. Like Africa Magic now. It's not DSTV that makes all those movies. No, they buy them from producers. Producers say, oh, I have 64 episodes of this movie we've just produced. Would you buy it from us? And our TV station was buying. Some of this content, some of these programs were rubbish, with all due respect. They were not even meaningful. You will see the subtitles were different from what the person was saying. And they will still buy it at high amounts. So I felt I would gather my friends. And when we gather, we're just going to create content. And when we create it, we'll go back to that same station I worked in. And we'll tell them we're selling. And so in my mind, the way I pictured it would be like when I walk into the gates, go to the director, we have program for sale. We're buying, take our money. That was how I imagined it. They did not buy one thing from me. But here's what happened. I got a team of fellows and we started to design whatever we could. We were just designing. We didn't even have the content. I went to Bakin Kogi and I saw a Fulani guy with cattle and I just created this design. I said, the Fulbe Dynasty, we're going to do a brand new program. I was just imagining things in my head. I moved on to create other series of programs. All these things. We got pictures. This is 2015, people. Digital pictures were not a thing. Smartphones were not snapping the picture. See, phones did not have cameras then. Do you understand? Phones did not have cameras. To get somebody with a digital camera was it. If you were to go to Cool Joe to take a picture of you then, I think it was 3,000 or 5,000 naira per copy. So to get these pictures, believe you me, it wasn't beans. It wasn't. And we were trying to create content. So all of you that are content creators, meet your grandfather. Yeah. And we kept creating. Hookup TV, don't laugh at that name. That name had prestige. But we kept creating as much as we could. We got presenters. We had a whole team. Presenters, people that were willing to do it because this was not something that anybody was doing around here. Why was I doing this? I had watched Hip TV, I had watched Nigezie, and we're watching these things and we're like, we can bring this back home to our own local people. So we tried everything we could. We got in-house presenters, we got outside presenters, we went on the streets, all these things that they are doing now of, okay, can you tell me your name? Between 30 million naira and university education, which one do you want? We did all of these things. If you check our YouTube channel, you should still be there. The key learning here was this: limitless creativity. Play and experiment. Rediscover the joy of play. Experiment freely without the fear of judgment. Allow curiosity to guide your explorations. We wanted to see what was working and what was not working. Nobody was doing it, so we wanted to do it. Chapter 4, I think this is the second to last. Expect the unexpected, and this was the U-turn moment. We were creating content. I think ATV had bought a set of content from us one time, and we're happy, but we kept creating more, hoping DSTV might be lucky to just say, are you Randy? Or you come, we're buying, we're giving you 10 million naira. I just hoped, but we kept creating. Now, freelancing and gathering content with no certainty of where it would go, a series of unplanned events were about to change the course of my existence. 2015, thereabout, there was a helicopter that was flying. I was living at Haniel, batteries are to be precise. I had my camera. I didn't have a zoom lens, just the one you saw. But there was a helicopter, and that was what I circled here. And it crashed. How many of you heard about that helicopter crash? It was behind Footy. You've heard of it? Fantastic. You guys did. So I was curious. Nobody sent me. Nobody employed me. I was not working for any media house, but I had a camera. I took a picture of the helicopter when it was flying because it kept hovering around. And people started saying, do you hear? It was on Facebook. I hear helicopters, you know. So I took a picture of it from afar. And then after it crashed, I said, I'll be the first to go and break the news. Jumped into my small Honda Civic. Well, finished on the way. I met my friend who was working with TV. I said, how far, babe? Give me some money, let's buy half gallon. We bought half gallon. We kept going. We thought it was at Footy. It was not. It was almost 2.5 hours inside one bush like that. When we finally got there, we met these boys gathering the pots. And then they said the main wreckage is there, and there are dead bodies, and the dead bodies are of, foreigners. So we're like, we're going to get this breaking news. And we got there. The military had already cordoned the area, and they said, no, you cannot go. You're not permitted to. And those guys that said it, you know, there are some soldiers you can keep on begging them and they'll allow. Those ones, the ones they said no, but the guy's hand was still playing with the trigger. I was like, no, I'm not doing this, not today. I just turned around. My friend, he was a journalist too. He said, let's go, Randy, let's challenge this man. I said, do you see this guy? You want to challenge him? Are you all right? I said, go and challenge him, I'm gone. Next thing I heard, I will shoot you. I said, you here. We ran, we left. But here's the thing, I sent it. So then CNN had this thing where they call it iReport. They had they kept doing. Do you have breaking news in your community? Send to us on CNN iReport. I saw the advert. I said, I'm going to send them breaking news, send them pictures. I sent an email to them. And this was the reply. It's kind of faded. So they say, congratulations, Randy. You have been awarded the first iReport badge. Hey, I put it on Facebook. CNN has given me badge. There's money attached to that, you know. It's just this kind of, received your email, thank you very much, goodbye, God bless you. But to me, and then some of my friends like, I CNN gave him a badge. I said, yes. So I was working like a hero amongst my friends. All of you are working for local TV stations. Me, CNN, they've seen my email. Has your own got it there? No, keep quiet, we're not mates. But then, it was an aspiring dream. I was aspiring to get somewhere. So from there, after I posted the picture that CNN had sent, a few journalists in town said, oh, okay, can we work with you? Local, it was just local news. Let's go, let's shoot the story. And I would follow. That was the elections. This was my first news report for Channels Television then. And we started to film the elections. We went to different local governments. Then someone from Uganda calls and says, is this Randy? I said, yes. Okay. I see that you do videos. I say, yes, sir. I would like you to do a story for me at the IDP camp. I said, okay, awesome. I'm going to do it. He didn't even ask how much. I said, I'm going to go and do it. I'll send it to you tomorrow. Bam, slammed phone. Yeah. It was when I got to the IDP camp, I now called him. I said, what do you want me to shoot? Because I was excited. Somebody calls you from Uganda. You are still young. You don't, foreign call. Do you understand? It's exciting. So he told me, hey bro, this is what I want you to do. Sorry, I think my time is up. Can I stop or do I continue? Okay, I'll go a little extra. All right, so I did the story and I sent to him and he was impressed. And he said, okay, so here's how we do it. We pay per day, and since you did a one-day job, we're giving you 50,000 naira. I said, I was now looking my 1 month salary in one day. Hey! I called my sister. I said, sis, how far? Do you have any problems at home? I have money. I'll send to you. I felt like I was going to redeem my family that day. I don't even know how that body finished, but it finished quickly. It finished. But it was exciting. It was. And then more and more people started to see, hey, can you do this story for us? And then we got to this point. I received a call from a friend, and he said, hey, I've recommended your name to someone. He's a journalist with Daily Trust, but he's also working for some client outside of the country, and he recommended you to shoot a story. Can we go to Madagali together? I said, sure. So I prepared things, took 2 bags, tripod, and some things that I didn't even need. I just packed everything so that I would look professional. We entered Starlet. We went to Madagali. There was a community called Duhu in Gulag. Now, the story was a girl who was impregnated by one of the insurgents. She was in their camp. She was abducted. She escaped and came back to Duhu community. She was pregnant, and her due date was very soon. She was heavy, and I was asked to go and film it. So we went. We filmed the story. We got all the news we wanted, and we were about leaving. And this was in her compound. I don't want to show her face to show respect to the person. And when we were about leaving, the youth in the village, they had already started gathering around our vehicle because the driver was waiting for us outside. And they started to gather. Now, in the meantime, I was trying to, you're in the village now, people are looking at you like, ha, Engari. So I wanted to, brought out my laptop, was copying the footage already so that I can show them a fizzy. These guys were gathering and they were not smiling. They were coming with sticks, like, I shoot in there. Ah! I was like, oh boy, these guys don't sound friendly. Oh. And they gathered, like 30 of them, and they surrounded us. And so we asked, Benidamon, what's the problem? And they said, they started accusing us that because the girl we went to interview is carrying the child of the insurgent. So that means, and we came to their village, we did not greet the district head or anybody, we just went straight to our house. They accused us that we are also terrorists. We're working for them. We came to check on the welfare of. I say, ah. And see, now it may sound funny, but that time these guys were ready to lynch us. These guys were not laughing. I was like, it bad like that. My heart was beating. And then my friend who we had gone with, he was very calm. I said, what we do now? No? The guy just said, no problem. You guys want to kill us, brother? Now he was saying it in Hausa, but I'm saying it in English now. He brought out his small phone, his touchlight phone. He said, no problem. I am just going to dial the brigade commander's number. Brigade commander in Yola. We already told him we're in this village. And I told him if I flash him once, just one flash, and he calls back and I don't pick, he's sending the next brigade post to this village to level the city. So if you like, do what you want to do. I'm about to dial. I was almost about to ask him, bros, is it true? So I now checked his phone, and this guy was literally dying away. Then one of the guys just said, okay, don't worry about how can I kill you back. I do full thing. I was like, then me said my colleague, like, next time you go get if we get my number, I was like, okay. And then I was like, hey, I'm back also Kujiba. It wasn't funny then, I tell you. Now it's something to laugh about. But then we escaped, we left. They bid on us. They even collected our numbers just to be greeting us. We left with our dignity and our heads intact. And that was when I felt, so this is the power of a journalist. You have power like this. And that was when I knew everywhere you go, collect contacts of big men. You don't know the day you'll need it. And I asked him, is it true? He said, it's not like he told me like that too. But I'll just dial him and I'll say, sir, see the problem we're in. I said, it's not like you said if you flash once. He said, bros, now film with the act. Not true. We escaped. Now, till now, I did not know who the client was that I was sending this footage to. On our way, we met with the vigilante and we took pictures. We interviewed one of the commanders. The next thing was this. This man here, you can see his face, right? He's the same man here, right? You can see the purple lining, same. And you've seen the logo on the website, right? What logo is that? So I didn't know that I was filming for CNN. So you can imagine from local content, and then when I was sending, that was when I said, who am I sending this footage to? They said, we'll give you the email address. And that was when I saw something at turner.com. I said, Turner, is that not the mother company of CNN? They said, yes, you were actually filming for CNN. I said, eh? Hey, hey. So now you can add CNN. It was touchdown. And then the day after this story, the first bomb blast in Jamaica Market. How many of you remember? The market in the evening blew up. People in the market, traders, customers. I was there. Skinny me. I was filming that story. Here is how it went down. We had just finished sending the story, and I was with my friend from Daily Trust, and then we heard an explosion. He heard it, me, I didn't hear because I had headphones. He touches me and says, "Did you hear?" I said, "No." "Bomb Yatashi." I was like, "No, now." He said, "It's a bomb." So he quickly called the police PRO and said, "Is it true?" He said, "Yes, it's true. But please be very careful." We got there. And when we got there, now you guys might censor this part of the video. Boop. I stopped my recording. I quickly called a friend in Channels TV and I said, "Bro, how far? I have an exclusive for you. The first bomb explosion in Yola." He said, "Send it, I'm ready." By 10 o'clock that night, Channels TV had the first exclusive videos of that story. Fully blown. Their website blew up. Calls started coming in. My friend called me, he said, "Randy, 3 major networks need your phone number right now. Should I give them?" I said, "Before Uncle." So the next day, Reuters International, Agent France Press, and Associated Press, these are all international. They said, "Are you the guy that did this?" I said, "Yes." They said, "We need your videos, we need footage right now." So here's what we did. You cannot give them the same footage you covered. If I covered from this angle, AFP would not want you to cover, they don't want that same footage because they are watching other stations. So I would shoot here. That same, I'll come and cover here again. Then for the next station, I'll cover in the center. So everybody had their own footage and I sent. That evening, I sat down and I was flipping through all the websites and I was seeing credits to Randy Haniel in one day. And that was a U-turn for me. The next day, another set of people called. "Can you do the story for us?" I was like, "Yes." Then they now asked a silly question. "Can you interview the governor?" I said, "Me, ke? Who know me?" "No, I cannot." But here's the funniest part. While this was happening, the governor came with the then Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and they came to inspect. Journalists gathered. Bah! Interview. I put my mic. Made sure I didn't cover any other person's microphone. Because these things are very important. When you see another TV station's own, NTA does not want to see Channels TV's own. So I made sure, I said, "Everybody, can you bring it down small? Don't suffocate them." So they all brought it down. Filmed my interview, sent. Wow. All these agencies started saying, "You know what? We're putting you as our permanent fixer for this year." That was it. I was not the biggest boy in journalism in Yola. Crown. They gave me, clap for me now. Clap. See, I rehearsed this thing. So this was the point where you guys are supposed to clap. If you don't clap, I'll tell you now. All right. So then CNN came physically and they said, "Were you the one that did the story?" I said, "Yes. We want to work with you. Can you come to Abuja?" Can I come to Abuja? You are asking. They already booked, they said, "We've already booked a room for you in Sheraton Hotel." Hey, wait. Even my dad has not been to Sheraton. Me. Called my dad. I said, "Tell Auntie this, tell them I'm going to Sheraton." And that was when we met. So this is Stephanie Busari. If ever you're watching CNN now, any story that comes from Nigeria, you'll see her face. This is Stephanie Busari. Do you remember NSARS that happened in Lagos? Do you remember after the government denied that there was no killing, CNN did a story where they exposed where the gunshot came from. There was a lady's voice, this lady, Nima El Bargis. She's a senior international correspondent for CNN. I was in Sheraton waiting for them. Stood. They said, "Oh, are you in the hotel?" I said, "Yes, I'm by the lobby." "Okay, we're also coming. Just wait for us." So I stood, waiting. And then I saw her, tall, very tall, with the rest of the crew, about 4 of them. They were walking towards me. And then there was a television by her side, and they were doing a CNN International advert, and she was the one on it. And I was looking like, "Are you the one. She was like, oh yeah, that's me. I was like, oh. You guys may not understand it, but in all your industries, I am sure that there are people you look up to. Our tech people, the day you meet Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, I am sure most of you will not contain it. Or no, I know those ones. No, the tech people, I know it's not Elon Musk. There are programmers behind the scenes that you have respect for. So when you see these people, you will lose it. I was in the same hotel with BBC reporters. See, I'm like, hey, see me. Oh, Yola boy. And yeah, so if ever I have a picture with the vice president now, he's my friend. I can always prove it. Any day he comes to Yola, I'll say, sir, do you remember this picture? How far is your boy? Send money. Good. So the lesson there was what? Embody resilience and persist. Be flexible and adaptable. Embrace change and use it as a springboard for innovation. How? This is it. I started creating content for TV programs. But there was a quick demand. Give us news. News story. And that was it. This is, I think, the final chapter. New phase. Building this media startup. As more agencies placed demand on premium content and insisted on relating with a company and not an individual, RALI Creative Media was birthed. Most of you realize, especially if you're business owners, some people will say, if you're working with, let's say, NGOs, they'll say, we're not going to pay into an individual account. It has to be a company account, correct? Yes. Great. Some will say, okay, we want to sign an MOU with you, but it has to be with your company, not with you directly. So you are signing on behalf of, you can relate, right? So then I knew that it was time to now register a company. So I had Pixel Creation as, a name, but I was now married then. My wife's name is Lillian, my name is Randy. So I joined the two names, Randy and Lillian. So it became RALI Creative Media. Clap for me now. I'm a romantic guy. I try. At least, so if you go somewhere now, like founder and co-founder. Learn, you guys should learn. Anyway, and that evolved to this. We had very nice uniforms, we're always looking fly and all of that. And so these were some of our team members. Yeah, that's my wife. Please clap for her. Thank you very much. And these were all our team members, various projects, up until the last one. Then, key learning was what? Embrace evolution. Commit to continuous evolution. Embrace evolution over stagnation. Continuously evolve your skills, ideas, and creative approach. You can't still be in the same place we left you last year. During the networking session, very young guy, he's into motion graphics. Where is he? Awesome. We're talking and he said he was into motion graphics, right? Good. Next year, when I meet with him, I don't expect him to still be just doing that. I expect him to probably be in full-time production. It's in the same line. Tech community. The programming language, Randeno and your team, what you were using to do programming 10 years ago, is it the same as now? No. Let me make you guys laugh small. I used to be a web designer. I used to use, stop laughing now, come on. I used to use a Microsoft front page to design website. Clap for me, Jai. Tech community, clap for me, show me respect. See these guys. But I am sure that anybody that hears that today, they'll just look at me like, what's this one saying? So there have been evolutions in technology over time. And so you have to continuously evolve. If not, you're going to be left behind. Every night I'm looking at what are the reigning cameras in our industry, what are the new standards that you deliver videos in. Every single time, if you don't stay updated, and thank God for the internet. So you can't fall short, you cannot fall short. There are standards that you can't fall below. In our industry now, if you're an individual, you can't even deliver video below 1080p. For us, we raise the standard to 4K. If it's not 4K, just let it be. Are we together? So you have to continuously evolve. These faces you see here are the young individuals at one time or the other, past, present, or not future, that I've either worked and mentored from, most of them from scratch, from zero, from nothing, from zero. Like, what do? Do you have any abilities? No, not really. Come, let's work together. I'll guide you. Jonathan, your picture is not here, don't worry. Get out. And some of them, amazingly, some of them are leading, either they're running their companies now, or they're in media-related areas. PK, for example, he runs MARP Media. Crazily creative guy. Crazily creative. When he flies a drone, the shots he gets with a drone, and I look up like, is it the same drone we're using, me and you? And this is a guy that when he was in university, he was like, give me an assignment to do. I was like, okay, design GT Bank logo on your computer. And what's GT Bank logo? It was orange box with a white box. I said, design it and send to me. And I'll say, you got the wrong shade of orange. Design it till you get the right shade of orange. 1 week, this guy will keep sending me different colors. I'm like, yeah. Even when he gets the right one, I'll say, no, this is not it. Okay, you didn't get the right font. And now, literally, we're like buddies in the industry. And a whole lot of them, male and female, amazing guys and ladies. And that leads to the last lesson, impact and legacy. Create with intention and purpose. Consider the impact of your creations, the impact your creations will have on the world. You cannot say, oh, I am going to be a creative, and somebody has not learned from you. You will not be in that same stage forever. There was a time Bill Gates was the richest man in the world. Now, I think he's number 5. It has evolved. But here's the fun thing, when I was watching the documentary of the history of Microsoft, it said the first 10 employees in Microsoft, today they are all billionaires. They're all billionaires. He told them, invest, put your shares in this company. I will give you shares. And today they have no regrets. You might be the best in your industry, but who are you guiding? Whose hand are you leaving so that the industry does not stay stagnant along the line? It might not be now that visual arts will pay in Yola, but a time will come. Remember that before Wizkid collects, Burna Boy says he collects, is it 500,000 appearance fee? And then collaborations on music is $75,000 or so, correct? I could be wrong about the figures. But was it always like this? No. There was a time these guys were doing all the plantation boys and co were doing it for free. But as they kept making improvements on the craft, today the heroes are now, the current artists are enjoying what somebody else worked for. But that's what legacy does. If you're not going to mentor someone, then what you've done is you've just cut off that line of succession. And then another person, after you left the world or you're too old to do anything, another person will now come and say, see you, I'm starting this industry. In Demsao, my friend told me of one elderly man. He said, almost last Friday of every month, after the Jumat prayers, he's a Muslim. Last Friday of every month, you will see vehicles coming with different things, food items, bags of rice, cows and everything. And I asked my friend, I said, who is this guy? And he said, a long time ago when this man was in the federal ministry, all the boys in the Angwa will say, you, what did you study? Secondary school. Come, you're going back, go to poly, go and study in the poly. As you're finishing from poly, he'll get you a job at the state government, state level. You have a degree, write this exam, you go here. Most of them hated him for it. But at the end of the day, he said, fast forward to the present day, some of them are directors at federal level. Some of them own businesses that are running into millions. And now, the same man that will grab, if your child is not going to school, he'll query your parents, oh yeah, I'll pay for his school fees. Send him to primary school, send him to secondary. Now, these boys have grown, they've become big boys. The man has built a legacy. That whole area now, they have him to thank, and there will be a continuous flow because he has shown kindness. Another person will pass it forward as well. And he will say, since this man did it when he was young, we'll do the same. So at the end of the day, you are building a legacy. I would say this, not because they're here, I love the tech community in Yola, because they keep gathering themselves. Like when one says, somebody was trying to organize an event the other day, and he said, who do you think we'll invite? I said, you know what, just get these guys in this tech community. They know their WhatsApp group. They know how to turn up. They turn up in mass. And that's what the whole community is about. If you don't know how to collaborate at this stage, it's going to be a problem. You can't act on a solo level in this current day and age. Collaboration is key to everything. When some of you were introducing yourself, I heard somebody said he was working for an online, he's working remotely, right? How many of you work remotely from for other companies that are not within the country. If you work remotely, let me see your hands. Those ones there, they will not raise. See all of them. See them. They know themselves. I'm sure some of you have not even been to those countries, but you work for them, right? And you earn in their currencies, right? Beautiful. What will make somebody in another country want the skills of a guy in Yola? Collaboration. And there's a problem that only he or she can solve that no other person in that team can solve. So here's what I'm saying. You see a job opportunity and you know you don't have the skill set. Get your friend on the project. He's into motion graphics, for example. If I'm working on a documentary and I know that there's a part I need motion graphics, I'm like, bro, can I have you in on this project? Tomorrow when he's listing projects he has done, I'll say, go ahead and put your name. If you look at the Grammy Awards, the one that Wizkid won, he didn't win it directly. I hope most of you know that. It was from a Beyonce album. But because he was in that particular track, and it wasn't just him, I think there were other African artists too. So what does the Grammys do? It gives to every artist that was on that project. When they say album of the year, who are the major people in the project? They share that glory together. So build up a system that creates a legacy for all of you. Don't ever think it's only me. You might be a very beautiful visual artist. He might be someone that is very good at networking and marketing. He will be the best person to get you the right market for your paintings. But one thing is you cannot build that legacy on your own. You need a community. On my team, for example, after doing all the things, running through almost every field that I've seen, running from every insurgency field area, I've reached a point where I tell my team sometimes, I don't need to go to the field with you. Take this project. You take this project. You go with this team. I'll just be back at the office. So that's it. Building legacies through collaboration is key. You will not be able to do it on your own. You need people. And when you do that, you are now thinking beyond normal. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to tell you my story and hopefully you've learned the lesson. Thank you very much. And God bless. Thank you for listening.